Hello and welcome to Cretaceous Cantina, where today we're having a look at the Mattel Jurassic World Battle Damage Ultimate Baryonyx Breakout. I picked up this set from Walmart.com. They retail for $19.97, which seems to be a heck of a deal, considering all you get. This is a set we only recently learned about. At San Diego Comic-Con, Mattel actually had the Baryonyx on display in their booth, which you can see if you check out my video of San Diego Comic-Con featuring Mattel's booth. So let's talk the packaging. It's a pretty sizable box, and you can see everything that's in there. It's basically the Dino Rivals aesthetic. For Battle Damage, of course, we get that really cool render on the left of the T-Rex. And overall, it looks pretty nice. At the back, we can see the items that come in the set a little bit better. There's Owen on a motorcycle that looks nothing like the motorcycle he used in the film. There is a Pteranodon, which looks to be the one that came packed with a mercenary in a different color. There's Baryonyx. It says that it's got Chump. And then on the right, we can see Owen and a couple of compies and accessories and other items from Battle Damage on the left, Velociraptor Blue, and Pteranodon. At the top, it just says Ultimate Baryonyx Breakout. Here at the sides, you actually do get some artwork. There's that really cool T-Rex render that I absolutely love. And on the other side, there is a really nice render of Triceratops. And at the bottom, this is basically what you have to look at. So there is your UPC right there if you want to see if you can find it locally. All right, so I'm going to take a moment, bust this thing open, and when we come back, we'll take a closer look at the Ultimate Baryonyx Breakout. All right, so here we have the contents out of the packaging. This is everything that you get in this set. You get the dinosaur, you get the Owen figure, the motorcycle, a few small dinos, and quite a few accessories. So let's go ahead and focus first on him. So it shouldn't come as a shock to you that an Owen figure is included in this set, because Owen is the only character that Mattel has the rights to produce in box sets. Wait, what am I saying? Of course they don't. They just like to saturate the market with Owen figures, even though there are several other characters that could potentially have come in this set. I mean, why not another Owen? We already have seen him like 10 times over at least. Anyway, it's the same figure we've seen before. This is the same one that comes with the armor, like the crowd control Owen. So basically, if you have that figure, you know exactly what you're going to get here. It's the same exact thing, really. The likeness is decent. It's painted pretty nicely. It's a little shiny, but pretty clean. The outfit looks pretty decent as well. And I mean, there's really not a whole lot for me to say about it, since we have seen this time and time again. So you have a ball joint at the head. Doesn't really go up or down. Insert molded connections at the shoulders. Same thing at both of the elbows. Here at the waist, we have a swivel. Here at the hips, you can get them out full beyond a split, actually. Pretty good aerobics, Owen. Forward and then bend and also rotate. So that's about the extent of it. We also have Owen's knife right here, so we can't forget about that. He's going to have his knife. Otherwise, you know, how's he going to get out of sticky situations? So there he is. We've also seen these armored bits before with that previous crowd control Owen figures, or, you know, whatever, riot control Owen figures. So it's the same exact thing that we've had before. So basically it's just going to go onto the figure exactly as those other figures did it. So we'll just slide this over his head and get that on him like that. And then we'll take his arms and we will attach these other pieces of armor to him. Oops, he lost his knife. One like that. And then the other like this. So there we go. And this time, one difference we do have is a helmet. It's not the same color as the rest of the armor, but you know what? Owen understands that safety always comes first. So he does have a very sporty looking helmet that's painted, or rather cast, in this sort of dark bronze color. And this is just going to be placed over his head. Now it's a little bit of a tight fit, so you kind of have to finagle it on there, but once you get it on, that is the end result right there. So yeah, it looks kind of weird, you know, all the armor and stuff. He comes looking across like something out of Halo, I would say, but yeah, I guess it works. We also get this data pad, which came with our Claire figure last year, so it's a very nice reminder that Mattel has put out 10 Owens, but only 2 Claires, and they are both basically impossible to find at this point. We also get a rifle accessory. Now, please don't at me with the very specific model that this gun is, because I don't know and I don't really care. But yeah, this is a new sculpt for the Mattel Jurassic line. We haven't seen this with any of the previous figures before, and it looks decent. We also get a flare, and this is the very same one that Dr. Ian Malcolm came with in the Legacy line, so I don't mind seeing another one. It's always a handy accessory to have on hand. You get 2 compies. Now, we have seen these 2 compies before in the Legacy line. They're really nothing new. I mean, it's kind of cool that they're just thrown in the pack as filler, but if you already have, some of them, I mean, you're not probably going to have a whole lot of use for them other than putting them on Owen or just using them to round out your little flock of compies. There's also a Dimorphodon. If this looks familiar, it is because it is a repaint of the one that came with the Mercenary figure from the very first wave in 2018. So same exact thing. It is very rubbery, very soft. But yeah, it must be like a juvenile though, because it's very small. And it's cast in this dark gray color. It's a nice color, just, there's not really any other painted detail on it. And finally, we get the motorcycle. So this is what Owen rides. It doesn't look like the one he used in Jurassic World, but it is definitely a very, I don't know, I guess I would say like an army looking or a very utilitarian looking bike, a heavy duty looking bike. And it does have your Jurassic logos. So like if you look right there, there's a T-Rex skeleton, right there, T-Rex skeleton. And then right there, there's another T-Rex skull. So, and then right there again. So yeah, it's definitely meant to be, a Jurassic World issued bike for its employees, I guess, or ACU or what have you. Yeah, this actually looks really nice. I really like the light right there. Unfortunately, it doesn't turn on. I think that'd be really cool if it did. But it looks like a light that's off. So that's a really nice touch the way they did that. I also do like the colors of it, for being a very utilitarian looking bike. I think that this kind of khaki color works pretty well. The saddle is also painted brown, and then the light at the back is painted red. You can see the engine right there. And it's pretty nicely sculpted. I will say it is nicely sculpted. It feels pretty solid in hand. It doesn't feel, cheap. There's no rubbery parts on there. If you remember that Hasbro one they did towards the end of the Jurassic World line, it's nothing like that. This actually feels pretty decent. So there are your handlebars. Here are your tires. The tires are nicely sculpted, and they feel like a very slightly softer plastic. And you can see that they do spin. So yeah, I like this. There's also a kickstand right there. So if you wanted to just set it up like that, it works, no problems at all. Another neat thing about the motorcycle is it has this little slot right there. So you can take the gun and just slide it in like that for storage. So that is pretty handy. All right, so let's go to get Owen on the bike. And basically you just want to pose your figure as if, he's going to be riding a motorcycle, which he is obviously going to be doing. And we'll grab him onto the handlebars right there, just like that. And we will grab him right there like that. He is sitting pretty nicely. Let's see if we can get his foot in the stirrup right there. And other side, same thing. We probably won't be able to get it perfect, but we can get it looking pretty decent. So yeah, that actually is pretty cool. And of course, with the kickstand, if you do want to put the figure on there like that, then it's just going to balance like that, which is nice if you want to display it on your shelf. I also want to mention that you can steer, or Owen can steer the motorcycle forward and back. So that's also a really nice touch. I didn't really think that this was going to be on there, but obviously his whole body moves with the bike. So probably not the most useful feature for Owen, at least not the safest feature, because that helmet's not going to do much good if he crashes ultimately. But yeah, this is pretty nice. I do like that they gave us something different that we didn't have. Really, if you think about it, this is kind of the only new thing in this set is this motorcycle. So I like it, and I'd like to see more small vehicles like this because I think they're great. All right, and finally we have our Baryonyx. So Baryonyx is the star of the set, I guess. And this is supposed to be a battle damaged Baryonyx. So you can see it does have some blood on it. Unfortunately, they didn't sculpt any actual battle damage on it. All they really did was painted some red on it and called it battle damage. But if you have that very first Baryonyx, or really any of them that have been released, you more or less know what to expect with this one. It's basically the same thing. This one, however, does not roar. It's essentially the same thing we got in the Lava Surge playset. So that means you can press the button on its back and open and close the mouth, but you don't get any roaring sounds, which I'm fine with, especially at the price point of this set. I don't mind it. So the sculpt, as with before, is very nice. Baryonyx has always been one that Mattel I think, really knocked out of the park. Other than articulation, they could go a little bit above and beyond with articulation, but I think this is a really nice one, and it's one of my favorite sculpts in the Mattel line, and I think it looks really nice. And seeing it in these colors is cool. I mean, it's different. I don't think a lot of us want to buy the same dinos over and over, at least in the same colors. So I don't mind so much that they used a similar pattern, but ended up changing the colors entirely. So I actually think it looks pretty good. Now, the upside of the mouth isn't painted. The tongue is. The membranes there on the sides of the cheeks are painted. The teeth are this very nice yellow color. They did not paint the forelimbs or the hind limbs as far as those claws go. But it looks okay nonetheless. The pattern on the back is basically this bluish gray color. And then the figure itself is kind of like this rusty sort of color. It's like the color of rust. And then on the bottom, basically the same thing, except for right here where, it's like this ashy sort of color. And then, of course, you do have the battle damage that's painted on the neck and on the leg. It doesn't look awful. I mean, what I like is that it's painted only on this side. So if you don't want to see that, all you need to do is pose your Baryonyx on your shelf like that. There you go. It's gone. But it is cool that it is there in case you want to look at it. It's just too bad they didn't go beyond just painting the blood on there. But what they did actually looks fairly decent. And then it does have like this dull yellow crest on the top of its head. So that is nicely done as well. Articulation, obviously it's the same. So you do have insert molded connections there at the shoulders, and you can rotate the hind limbs forward and back. They kick out also. So again, if you have any other Baryonyx, you more or less know what to expect with this one. If you are doing the Jurassic Facts app, there is the scannable code right there. Alright, so here's a comparison of our new Baryonyx along with the other three Mattel have done thus far into the line. I still feel like the original Roarverse Baryonyx is the best. It is the most screen accurate Baryonyx they've done. The Lava Surge playset right here, it's basically what we have with the new one since it doesn't roar. And then we have the re-released Roarverse one from Dino Rivals a few months back. So that green one right there with the yellow snout. So we have plenty of Baryonyxes, as you can see. Now, the green one is obviously very different in terms of what they tried to achieve, but when you look at these other ones together, I feel like they sort of feel like they could be like from the same flock or the same herd of Baryonyxes. Just the patterns are basically the same color on the backs, even though this one is obviously more of a rust color than these ones are. It still feels like it could be the same family. Like maybe, this one's located on a different part of the continent than these ones are. Or maybe, these are male, that's female. The possibilities are limited only by your imagination. So have fun with it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so there you have it. This is the Mattel Jurassic World Battle Damage Ultimate Baryonyx Breakout Walmart exclusive. I think it's a Walmart exclusive set. Retails at $19.97 and is a very good value for the money. When you consider you get a pretty nice Baryonyx alongside an Owen figure that has a motorcycle and a few little dinosaurs and accessories, I'm actually surprised it's only $20. I kind of would have pegged this, at being maybe closer to $30 at least. And even then, I think even that would have been a pretty fair deal for what comes in the set. So for $20, you're kind of missing out if you're not taking advantage of all this set has to offer. And I think it offers you quite a bit because the Baryonyx is a pretty nice figure. Yeah, they didn't go quite as far as they could have with it, but it is a new color scheme and it does have the battle damage paint on it. I actually like it more than I expected to. The Owen figure really isn't anything special. I mean, the helmet and the gun are new accessories, but everything else is a repeat here. The Compies and the Dimorphodon are nice inclusions, I guess, but they do feel like filler. They're not really essential to the set. I think the only really new thing you're getting here is the motorcycle. I mean, it's nice to have another vehicle to flesh out your Jurassic World fleet. And it's actually a really nicely done motorcycle. It's a nice sculpt, it's pretty nicely painted, and it's nice that you can steer the front wheel back and forth and that the wheels spin and that it has a kickstand. I think those are pretty nice features to it. And things like the flare and the data pad are nice inclusions, but again, not really essential. So I think for what you're paying here, $20, it's really a pretty well-rounded set and gives you a little bit of everything. And even though a lot of this is stuff we've seen before, it's presented in a new way, and I feel like it's definitely worth the price of admission. I think they did a pretty nice job. I'm not sure about availability in stores. I imagine that it will be, but we haven't seen confirmation one way or the other. These have only started just hitting online, so If you want to get one, hit up walmart.com and we'll throw a link down below. That way you can add it to your own collection. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so there you have it. Let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think about this set? Will you be adding it to your collection? As always, I'd like to thank you for tuning in to Cretaceous Cantina. Until next time, bye-bye.